All right. Let's move on to our second Oscar flick. Oscar flick. That was hard to get out for some reason.
Now, you heard a crack and a pour. He's not drunk. He just can't talk right now.
Well, to be fair, it's the second beer. We have no food.
Not yet.
And
so you are drunk.
I am more of a lightweight than you.
That's fair.
But, and by I say more of a lightweight, I mean I am actually a lightweight and you are not.
Well, I was going to say one of those is fair. I wouldn't have thought of you as a lightweight. Have you become a lightweight? Have you regressed to lightweight?
I've regressed to lightweight.
It's disappointing.
This podcast will do me in.
Cheers.
Cheers. Al, what are we drinking next?
What we're drinking next is Fordham Copperhead Ale, which hails from...
Again, not endorsed.
Not endorsed. Not even remotely endorsed by Fordham Copperhead Ale. This is brewed by Fordham Brewing Company out of Dover, Delaware. I made a trip to Delaware with the family, as it were, last summer.
As it were? What happened?
Well, they got to stay there longer than I did. I had to turn around after a couple of days. But, yeah, this is... I picked up a handful of beers while I was down there. Some of them I paid for, some of them I didn't. Use your imagination. It wasn't really that... that wasn't that interesting, but go ahead. Yeah, this is a amber ale. 5% alcohol by volume. I always enjoy this on alcohols. It has a fun little blurb. I'm going to read it to you. This is the snake you want on your plane.
Stop. Did I even say that?
I did not make that up. I'm not that clever. I'm clever. I'm not that clever.
Damn.
Like its namesake, the Copperhead Snake, this beer is relaxed and unassuming. At 5... I read it right.
Yeah, I know. I believe you. It's just...
At 5% alcohol by volume, Copperhead Ale is noted for its caramel coloration and a slight bite when agitated.
What the hell?
So,
question, did we agitate it? Is yours agitated? Let me try yours.
Well,
Let me see if yours has a bite.
Well, now it is. Yeah, so, as I've long noted too, friend of the podcast, Alexander Firestone. In a different life, I would love to write the descriptions of alcohols. Because those are fucking hysterical. Whoever does those is having the time of their life, and I want to be that person.
So, time for my review.
Yes, go for it.
This beer is also good.
Yes, the not so snobbish beer connoisseur, Anthony Cosenzo.
Yeah.
On his scale of good to not good.
Good.
Given the sake, good.
Good.
Yeah.
Too bad. Oh my god. Alright, so the next film we're going to talk about is La La Land.
La La Land.
It's the only other film up for Best Picture that
we
both saw. That we saw. I don't think you saw any of the other ones, right?
Sorry, I'm just going to double check because I don't think I did either.
We have Arrival, Fences, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, La La Land, Lion, Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen any of the other ones, though I was interested by a few of them. I really want to see Arrival. I only just recently heard about Hell or High Water, and I've become intrigued. I'm going to probably try and check that out in the next couple of weeks.
I'm interested in Hidden Figures.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. I don't know whether or not the movie is super interesting, but I am curious about the story. I'm not interested by Manchester by the Sea, though a lot of people are giving it their seal of approval for Best Picture, because everything I hear about it is the most depressing. Not about it right now.
Yeah.
So,
You don't feel like going to the movie just to cry?
No, I have never felt like that actually, but for the sole purpose of crying, no.
Got it. Fair.
Not that I haven't cried at a movie.
What movie did you cry at?
Doesn't matter. We haven't had enough of these delicious beers yet.
Ah, man. I'll never forget. We went to see... So Al and I... This is a quick aside.
Do it.
Al and I saw the 3-movie event that led into the Dark Knight Rises. We did a whole day.
Back to back
At an IMAX theater in...
Somewhere in New Jersey.
Yeah, where was it? It was in...
Doesn't matter.
Elizabeth, New Jersey. At the IMAX, at the Lowe's Theater there, at the... one of the malls.
It was a good time.
It was fun. It was a good time. Yeah, it was cool. You got your little badge. You felt like you felt important.
It's true. They let you cut to the head of the line and everything.
You were able to cut people and fill up your soda and popcorn. So you
retained ownership of your seat. Like,
yeah. You had your seat. You were good to
general
go.
superiority.
It was cool. It was. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Fun fact that you might not realize.
Go on.
Christopher Milianti, friend of the Shit Show podcast, cried at the end of The Dark Knight Rises.
He wasn't there. Was he there with us?
He was with us.
I don't remember him crying.
Yeah. He told me he teared up a bit.
Okay.
Thinking that
I could see it.
Thinking that Batman died. I could see how that would break, man. Big Batman fan myself.
Oh,
see how that would be
as big a fan as there is.
Yeah, right. I am Batman.
I'm Batman.
As it were. So, La La Land.
Yes.
Al's got some opinions on this movie. He has got some thoughts. I'm actually just going to let him run with it. I'm curious. He's got some stuff he wants to talk about.
That's how you want to do this? Okay. I have thoughts about this movie. I have a lot of thoughts that have nothing to do with this movie.
I'm listening.
So, after watching this movie, spoiler alert, we're going to talk nitty-gritty on this one.
Yeah, we're going to get in there.
We're going to be all up in there.
I know at least at one point I am. We got to talk about that ending of that movie.
That ending is brutal.
Woo!
And is the perfect point to help drive home what I want to talk about with
Excellent.
this movie. So, while I was watching this movie, it brought to mind 2 other movies. Okay. So we're going to talk about those movies a lot too.
Excellent.
As much or more than these movies. This movie, in fact. Early on in the movie, so you remember the way that they structured it, you have the opening song. Doesn't really have much to do with anything. And then you have the brief chance meeting of our 2 main characters, whose names I have no chance of remembering.
Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling.
Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling, because their names don't matter. We have the brief meeting of them in the highway, in traffic. We get Emma's story. Mm-hmm. It was a little bit weird. The way they started the movie off was a little weird. We get a lot of her story. She walks...
Sebastian and Mia.
That does sound familiar. Sebastian and Mia. So we get a lot of
Compliments of IMDb.
Also not sponsored by IMDb.
No.
So we get a lot
down.
of Mia's backstory. She's working at the coffee shop. She's got her friends. They go to a party. She gets her car towed. She walks past a bar and she hears a song that intrigues her. She walks in. And then we get Sebastian's story.
Yeah. Way to boil down 30 minutes of a movie to 20 seconds.
It needed to be boiled down.
Fair. Fair. Which is funny, because I think I had told you before you went to see that movie.
That it starts
first
off...
25 minutes. 25... I was very specific.
Yes.
I was like 20 to 25, not 30 minutes
yes,
of this
you said
movie.
that. I forgot about that. Yes, you did say that.
I was like, oh boy,
It's
is this
slow.
that movie?
Like...
Is this that movie that's nominated for Best Picture that I completely disagree with? That
because
was
the way
like,
they
I was
cut
like,
up...
here
First
we
of all,
go.
by the way, maybe I wasn't paying close enough to the trailers, but like, I thought this movie was taking place in the 1950s.
Oh, that was confusing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Thankfully,
I'm
it
still
was
not
modern.
sure.
No, I mean, it happened. They had iPhones.
They did. But
It's not Archer.
it's not. It's weird though.
No,
right?
no, it all happens in real time.
And maybe like somebody that's more equipped to talk about movies than us might be able to explain that.
No, despite having an anachronistic feel early on, no, it happened more or less now.
Yeah.
But the trailers did not make it seem like that was going to be the case.
Like I guess like he was kind of old school with his
with his
love of
she was driving
jazz,
a
his
Prius.
old car, his whole grip on the past that he had. But there was something about the movie that didn't make it clear to me what the time frame was. And
clearly it was an homage to those movies, which is part of the reason I felt that way.
Right.
The other thing is the jazz emphasis.
Sure.
The plays, the actual musicals. It was very Singing in the Rain type of thing.
Which was the intention.
Yes, it's an homage to those movies, right? Which is fine. It's good. You know, nostalgia is the industry now, right?
The feels.
the feels.
As the kids say.
The member berries, if you will.
The what?
The member berries?
The
You
new
don't
one?
watch South Park.
Oh, Jesus. I was like, thought this was something that I don't know yet. I'm getting old.
I remember.
You remember? Chris says that.
Yeah, it's from this season of
I
South Park.
remember.
Getting off track. So anyway, it takes way too long, as he said. 25 minutes of the first... They could have done that whole thing. They spend 20 minutes on her, like a day in her life, and then they spend 5 minutes on his day in his life. They could have chopped that all down into like 7 minutes. And then they change. The two of them meet briefly again. So the whole movie starts with there's brutal traffic in LA. You know, LA and traffic. They get into an argument. She's reading her script. She's heading on to an audition. He honks the horn because she's not moving the car. She drives by. She flips him off. Blah, blah, blah. They meet again at this club. As she's left this party later that day, she walks past the club and hears music. She walks into the club. You see a look on her face. Obviously, it's going to be him. You don't see him. Then we go and see a day in his life. He's playing at this restaurant. He gets fired because he's playing songs that J.K. Simmons in the weirdest cameo I've ever seen.
Whiplash 2.
Whiplash 2 without the assault.
I leaned over to Kim as we were watching the movie. I was like, Whiplash 2. And she just shook her head.
Like, I was disappointed there wasn't more of him because
I love him.
I love him, and
Yellow
they
M&M.
didn't give him enough to do. Like, there was no momentous lines, nothing, like, just play other than play the set list. That's not quotable. So, the two of them meet up.
That's our thing from now on, though.
What?
As this show goes off the rails, play the set list.
So, Ryan Gosling, Sebastian walks by Mia. She says, "Oh my god, I heard you playing the song." Literally crashes into her, keeps walking, cuts and says, I think it had been winter at the time. We get a cutscene that says spring. Mm-hmm. So we're several months away. And Mia and Sebastian meet again at a pool party of some famous mucky muck in LA. It doesn't matter. She's fending off some script writer who's... God, it's so loud.
Sorry, I dropped a pen. And it just, like, broke everything.
So, Sebastian's playing at this club, and you can see him, it's the theme of he's chafing against the establishment. He is a lover of the classical jazz. He wants that time, and he's playing 80s synth pop. Take On Me by Aha and other things. We're also not sponsored by Aha. They meet up again. They recognize each other. She recognizes him first. Again, just like the last time. He didn't recognize her the first time. This time he recognizes her. It's the same girl again. And he gives her a minute of time.
I think it's funny though because she's like, hey, it's that guy, and he's like, ah, crap, it's
yeah,
that girl.
He just does not want to give her a moment of his time, and he's a self-hating, self-loathing, and also hating everyone else musician.
But he's into her
in LA, yeah.
Which you find out, obviously.
Of course, naturally. And then again, we get after another little song and dance between literally and metaphorically. It is a musical.
That's
after
pretty
all.
funny. I like that.
So again, we jump forward. It's summer, and we see them again. And so there's this whole theme of, even in this place as big as LA, with how 60 million people in the greater LA area or whatever stupid number it is, it's this theme of these two people who are connected in whatever way, meeting, separating, meeting, that it's their destiny to continue meeting. And we see that harshly shown to us in the first 45 minutes of the movie through a couple of seasons a year. They meet, they connect, they separate, and they're destined to meet again. Mm-hmm. And it reminded me of a movie, because the quote is literally there, the movie Cloud Atlas, which I mentioned earlier in the... unintentionally.
This is going to be a reoccurring thing.
Unintentionally.
Cloud Atlas is
Al's
favorite movie.
It's one of my favorite movies. Top 3, for sure. Unintentionally, as we continue to meet, separate, and then meet again with Cloud Atlas. I mean, as Mia and Sebastian meet, separate, and then meet again because it's destiny. And there's a line from the movie. Robert Frobisher says, "I dreamed of us meeting each other in multiple lives. We meet, we're connected, we separate, and in the next life we meet again."
Hashtag Soylent Greenest people.
Hashtag Soylent Greenest people. For those of you who don't know that reference.
That's for us.
I was going to say, fuck you and look it up.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so there's Robert Frobisher in the movie Cloud Atlas says that I envision us meeting, separating, meeting in another life. And it's the same thing in La La Land, right? It's that theme of no matter what they do in their life,
they keep coming back.
No matter what distances, real or imagined, separate them, they keep meeting each other. Because as the movie goes on later, right, they are fully tied at the hip, right? They move in together. They're chasing their dreams together. They love each other. It's real. They have a real connection. And it's both a testament to the writing and the actors themselves. The two of them, for whatever reason, have one of those special on-screen connections that you get.
It's an odd chemistry that you wouldn't expect when you think about them separately.
Yeah,
but
especially considering that like, he's like 15 years older than her. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, but like they have it and it's real. I don't get it, but there it is, and it's good for them.
Emma Stone and Papa Goss. Got it.
No, Hugo Weaving and Emma Stone do not have a
Papa Goss, not Papa Doss.
Sorry, you can understand my confusion.
It's one letter.
Exactly. So, that thematic element, Cloud Atlas could not be any less like La La Land as far as an actual movie, whether you're talking about the script, plot, location, dialogue, could not be any less alike. But I still felt this intense connection between those two movies of this whole thing of the cycles of life that we have, where you have two people or two events or two things that keep mirroring and matching each other no matter the distance between the two of them. Any of you who are Coheed and Cambria fans will enjoy that line as well.
So I was to be clear, this is the first of the two movies that you mentioned.
It's the first of the two movies.
Okay. Because of that.
Because
the
of
constant,
that.
like, disconnect, reconnect.
It's the whole point of our destiny is to continually meet. Because you see, after having a long bout where the two of them are connected, they get driven far apart. She goes to Paris. He stays in L.A. They say to each other, I'll always love you. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where it's going. And we don't see... God damn it. You see... Woo! We see thousands of miles and 5 years separate the two of them before the final act of the movie, right? Mm-hmm. Where maybe they were thinking each other, maybe they weren't. Obviously they were. And I know you want to talk about that whole last part, and I don't want to talk about it yet. I want to talk about it, just not now.
Sure.
And there's the whole... They finally meet again.
that song's been stuck with me since the movie. I've been listening to the album every day.
So the music was great. So you keep seeing this theme, and it plays out in huge display at the end of the movie. And the final sequence where they're sitting at the club, and he starts playing, and it's a callback to the first time they met. And we see this life played in fast forward in a montage, spliced with this other thing that they're doing, literally in a play, right? And you see all the events of their life as if they were perfectly happy together, despite the fact that she's married to someone else and has a kid with someone else. And you can see that he's been thinking of her, and she's been thinking of him, but not as closely as he was. Mm-hmm. He's trapped in that moment, and she's not. But they both imagine it at the same time, as we get that same callback to earlier in the movie where he's playing and he's transported to this other world. And that in particular, as well as some of the other elements...
But they both are.
They are, but I felt it was more intense for him.
Sure.
Because he's still trapped there, because she walks out and he barely makes it off the stage, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it still hurts her. It's still fresh and vivid for her, but he's there, and she left, and for a moment she's transported back there. But she's left it behind, despite the fact that it still pulls on her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that isn't even what I meant. So, there's that whole montage that they play, and there's some of this whole fractured storytelling throughout the course of the movie, the way that it's structured, which reminded me of another movie, which is, in a lot of ways, Cloud Atlas is similar to this as well. It's a movie called, oh my god, I can't remember.
Great movie. Great flick.
Mr. Nobody is what it's called. Jared Leto. A lot of people don't know about the movie.
Starring him, her, and the other guy.
starring me, myself, and Irene. Sorry, Mr. Nobody by...
You have mentioned this movie.
I know I've mentioned it, but I don't think you've seen it.
No, I haven't seen it.
It was after you saw Cloud Atlas.
Is this an indie flick?
Yes.
Okay.
That term kind of doesn't have the same...
Fair.
It's a movie I stumbled upon on Netflix completely accidentally. It's about 6 or 7 years old, I think. Jared Leto. There's a couple other pretty well-known actors and actresses in it. But he's really the star. And it's the whole concept of how choices affect us in our life.
Okay.
And the way that the movie is told is through 3 different parts. It's a movie about a young boy whose parents get divorced. And they present him with a choice. It's actually really fucked up. They get divorced. The father and the son drive the mother to the train station. The mother gets on the train. And the 2 parents say, choose. Mm-hmm. As the train is
Parents
preparing
of the year.
to leave
Mom and Dad of the year.
station. And he stays by the father as it starts to pull away. And then he starts to chase the train.
And then he jumps under the train and the movie ends.
No, thankfully that is not how it happens. So he has this choice to make. And in that split second where he doesn't know, because as he's chasing and reaching out to his mother, the father calls his name. And he looks back at the father while reaching for the mother. And from there, the rest of the movie takes flight as we see, in his mind, he imagines all the different choices that he can make in his life. Do I go with my mother? Do I go with my father? It's that whole fractured storytelling that reminds me of the same thing with La La Land, where we see these different...
What if?
What if?
The what if, yeah.
And it's so brilliantly played out. And it's like, in this movie, like Mr. Nobody, you think, oh, it's only two choices. Somehow they manage to weave in between three different choices. And you can see as his mind goes to, well, this is how it goes. In this choice, he dies. So he rewinds the choice in his mind and makes the other choice and see how that goes. Mm-hmm. There's one of three different women that he may eventually end up falling in love with. 3 girls from his childhood. All this whole sorts of thing. And it was like so like vividly in my mind. This is what came to me was watching La La Land. So it's unbelievable.
So I have a question about this then. So in this movie, which I obviously will have to watch now.
This is what's finally going to get you to watch it?
No, I was interested before, but to be honest, I kind of forgot that we talked about it.
Oh, 100% I knew that's what happened. Yeah.
So he's the perspective of the movie. Is it from the child at the point of this decision?
Yes and no. That's the impetus for us to see it, but it's actually told through the lens of him as a very old man.
Interesting. Do you understand at the end which way he chose?
Yes.
You do. Ooh.
And that's what reminded me so much of La La Land.
That's cool. Okay, yeah. Then I can see the parallels then. Yeah.
Yes, you understand where I'm going with. Where
if it was
looked at all the decisions in his life. So what happens is it's a kind of a sci-fi flick where the movie is actually told by him as a very, very old man. And he's being interviewed for a reality TV show. Mm-hmm. Death has been eliminated on Earth.
Right. Okay, sorry, I remember you telling me more about this movie.
And he is going to be the last person on Earth to die. So an intrepid young reporter comes and interviews him and says, tell us about your life.
Right.
Because no one else understands the thoughts of regret and, oh my God, it's all going to end now. Mm-hmm. So he sits down and he's telling this young man, but he's so very old and the years have taken its toll on him that early on in the movie, the reason that you keep seeing these 3 separate passes, he forgot which was real. And it takes him jogging his memory, talking to him, to remember what he imagined in that moment and what actually happened.
Interesting. And does that end up being like the third path?
No, because that's what's so clever about this movie is that they keep jumping as the themes apply between the 3 different storylines seamlessly. Like, in this moment, he could have been doing this, or he could have been doing that.
Right.
And they keep going back and forth, and you see him as a younger man and an older man. It's a little hard to track early on. Like, it can be tough. And then once you get a feel for the rhythm of the movie, like, it's like, oh, I get what they're doing. I see what they're doing. Where this storyline ends, and he backtracks on the decision and makes a new choice. Right. So each within those 3 storylines, even there's differences. And you can see it gets ridiculous. But it all keeps coming back to the same thought of choice and what matters in life, and this and that, and how it goes. And it's the same thing with La La Land. Right. So they're presented with that choice, where he's in a successful band, and she has her opportunity to star in the role of a lifetime.
So
and they have a choice to make.
To pull it back, the idea, the 2 main characters have these beautiful grand dreams, where she has this dream of being an actress, and he has this dream of bringing jazz back and being like
single-handedly
being a part of it, like really being the man who pulled this. And honestly, like, well, we say that single-handedly, but like, it's not so much like he says it. I don't know, like if you like, I don't fully believe it. I do believe that he wants to be the person to bring it back, like to a degree. But like the way that he frames it is he just wants it to come back. But as the viewer, you feel that he wants to be the one to bring it back.
Well, to even take it a step further, I actually thought it didn't matter to him whether he got the credit for it, but damn it, he was going to be the one to do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Fair.
Which the 2, I think, can like hold hands and work together, right? So like that choice where they make where he chooses to do something different because it makes him successful based on the conversation she has with her mother. He doesn't have a paying job. Yeah. But he's going to make it work. and he goes and does something that is jazz adjacent, but it's not, and he kind of hates himself at first, but then it ends up being fun, so he does it, and she sticks to her ideals, and it doesn't work for her at first, right? She does her one-woman show, and no one shows up, despite her pouring every fiber of her being into it. Which is, it's kind of like the tale that we live in now, right? Do you stick to your guns and do your art, or do you sell out?
That's funny, because the way that like the movie is framed, it's unless you're paying close attention, you don't pick up on the fact that she poured everything into it, right?
Yes.
Like
it is a little subtly handed to you, right?
They frame it as he's giving up his dream to push hers forward.
Yes.
Right? As he joins this band that he's kind of about joining to begin with.
John Legend's dragging him through.
Right. And he does it, and he does find what he likes about it, but deep down that this is not satisfying for him.
Even though he pretends otherwise.
But I feel like during that
I think he fools himself.
Yeah. And during that point in the movie, they focus more, I feel like, on like he's doing this for her, but they don't touch. I feel like they don't like really. They put the lens on her as much. Where if you really
until
pay
it
attention,
all comes crashing down,
you know that like that's like this. She really wants this.
Yes, they do. It's very subtle with her how much this means to her, because it isn't. She wants to be the big movie star.
Well, and
she goes and does this other thing because it's more artistically relevant to her. Right?
And what's cool about it too is like it's done in two separate ways. One is like between like, the dialogue and what's like super present on screen.
Yes.
It's him giving up on his stuff to push her forward. But through a lot of like imagery and scene work, you see how much she's putting into what she's doing.
It's the quiet moments, her not saying anything, not talking to anyone, she's just scribbling on her notepad.
Yeah.
She's just doing her thing.
It's just like all of the items like strewn across the floor. Right?
Yes,
like she's like working on this whole
there's
set
files
piece.
here, there's pictures there, there's sheet music there, right? Like it's that whole thing. It is like a testament to the understated like part of it, right? Like it's how she's subtly doing her work, and it's in the quiet moments, underscored by they're playing his like weird jazz pop synth thing that they're doing, and it's fun and it's loud, and she goes and she's like she loves it, but she knows he doesn't, even though he's telling and showing otherwise. Like she knows he doesn't love it. She knows that maybe he likes it, but it might be killing him inside, even though he keeps saying otherwise and acting otherwise, right? Like that's why I said I think he fools himself even. Like, oh no, like this is fun. Like I'm having fun. Like we're making money. It's great. Like it's whatever, But he's so passionate earlier in the movie about the real experience and opening this club,
right? That
there's no way he could really be on board, right?
It's deep,
right?
Yeah. What? So to pull it all together, like if you haven't seen it and you're somehow still listening, so at the end of the movie, she walks into this club with her husband. You get this glimpse. She has a child. She has a husband.
She is the successful star.
Yeah, she succeeded. She got what presumably what she wanted.
Yes.
She always wanted to be this star. She always wanted to be this actress, right? And she got that. And she has this. She has this from an outside perspective, full life, right?
They do the callback too, right? To early in the movie, she's working at a coffee shop.
That was a great scene.
Even though it's a little bit cliche, it was also perfect.
It was perfect
because she's working at the coffee shop, and you see an actress walk in, but you see the back of her head. It doesn't matter who she is.
It doesn't.
She's Angelina Jolie. She's any famous actress that everyone knows immediately, and she's working on a Hollywood set, and the woman walks in, and the manager says, "Oh, we're going to give you your drink for free." And she says, No, I insist.
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, when she's the famous star she always wanted to be, we see a BMW pull up to the set. We see a woman walk out, and we see the woman walk in to buy a coffee. You see the back of her head, and you know it's her, but you don't see her face again. And she does the same thing.
Yeah, it's the role reversal between the girl behind the counter and the girl in front.
Yeah, she's gotten to that point.
Well, it's not reversal, but yeah.
She got to the point that we've now seen the other side of the mirror that she was looking at.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It's further driving home that whole circular thing that I'm talking about. With Cloud Atlas and Mr. Nobody, like how our destinies keep meeting in the places where they're designed to.
So she has this life that she's been from the beginning of the movie that she's wanted. That you understand that this is what she wants. She wants to be, or like this is what she advocates that she wants.
Yes.
She wants to be this star. She wants to be a movie star.
This is what we see, and this is what we're told.
And she has the wife. Sorry. Wow, that was weird. She has a kid. She has a husband. She gets home. She's like, she greets her child. They have this cute moment together. She gets in the car with her.
And she's happy.
She's happy.
She's got a husband she loves.
She seems super happy.
She doesn't look like she's putting on
You're not, though. You're not happy.
You're not happy. No.
As a viewer of the movie, you're like, no!
But she's so happy.
No! And you almost, I don't know about you, I feel in that moment, like, you're like, you did this! Like, you feel like you're so mad at her.
Because he tells her, you have to do this.
Right.
And she knows she has to do this.
Right.
But she needed him to be, she did love him so much.
Yeah.
She needed him to tell her.
Right.
You need to do this.
So
she did it.
So she does it. So she does it. And so her and her husband, they're going to some dinner or something. I don't even remember what. And honestly, it's
just
not,
date night.
It's not important.
Date
They were
night.
going out.
They're going out to dinner.
They're stuck in LA traffic again, which brings you back to the beginning of the movie. Here's your circle that Al's talking about. They get off she's like, hey, why don't we just get off right here and go grab something to eat?
Oh no, they were going to see a show with friends.
Okay.
And they were
never they bailed on their friends.
They bailed on the friends because the traffic was so bad. They're sitting and stuck in the traffic, just like in the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, so she suggests, like, let's bail out. You know, let's go grab some dinner.
Yes.
They exit the highway. They go get their dinner. They come upon this. They hear this jazz music playing from wherever, from this hole in the wall, basically. That's downstairs in the den.
Yeah, one of those
really
underground
cool.
little clubs.
Like, very New York City style. It's off to the side, like you only know about it if someone's told you, type of deal. But they hear the music as they're walking down the street, and they start going towards it, and even at that moment, even though you don't as the viewer what's about to happen, it's not a secret.
Yes.
You know what's going on. You know that she's gonna go in there, and it's gonna be Sebastian's club. Like, it's gonna be this whole thing that he got there. Now,
Chicken on a stick, actually called Seb's, which was
what she suggested the name of the place be called, because
no
one's gonna go to Chicken on a Stick, which is one of the really funny banters back and forth in the movie. But so they get to this place, and it's funny because I feel like there's a glimpse, if you watch her during those scenes, there's a glimpse, she I feel like she starts to kind of she's starting to there's a little bit of reminiscing going on.
Well, there's that, and I also looked at it as the dichotomy of he's excited because she loves jazz, but
why does she love jazz? Because of him.
She loves jazz because of Sebastian. Because at the beginning of the movie, she tells him, despite his absolute fervent love for jazz, that she hates jazz.
Right.
And he opens her to the world of possibility. And she loves jazz, and that's where she leaves him. And Paris is great. They have great jazz there, and you love jazz. And she says, "Yes, I do." And they get there, and they're walking down, and she sees Seb's, and she knows, but she doesn't want to believe that it's that.
Yep.
She wants to believe that if he has achieved his dream, it's chicken on a stick.
Yeah, and there's a slight. It's funny. She does know because she sees the Seb's thing, and
it could obviously
her gut sinks, right?
Yes.
But then they
get into the room. Her husband has no idea.
No, he is, and he's clueless the entire time.
Yes.
But he's just this other piece of
the
puzzle.
Device.
He's not involved at all in the storytelling, aside from this
being the
for whatever reason, you love these two together so much, you hate this guy, but he did nothing wrong.
Yes, he's just a poor fool.
Yeah. So, but they pull into there and they do this. They kind of they take a step back, right? It's okay. It's Seb's, and she gets that you get that gut sinking feeling because you see the sign.
And what's gonna happen?
That it's Seb's, which is the name that she suggested for his jazz club. You know what's gonna happen, but then they get to it, and it's this young guy that's playing the piano, and he's he's crushing it.
Yeah, and it's the whole young. It's the whole young.
It's
crew.
so good.
There's a 5-piece band, and
it's
all these these a couple of guys and girls, and they're playing and they're killing it.
It's jazz brought back.
Yes,
and
it's the picture he had in his mind.
Right, and he comes on stage afterwards. So she's seeing it, and she's seeing jazz come back, and he comes on stage and he applauds the guy playing the piano. Sebastian comes on stage, applauds the guy playing the piano. He's eventually going to get behind it and do a little ditty of his own. But in that moment, you're he did it. He achieved a dream.
She had her dream,
it was so obvious.
His dream.
Yeah, it was so obvious when she achieved hers. Right, she wanted to be this movie star,
and there
it was very easy for them to display that. But in that scene alone, where the kid is playing the piano, and then he comes out, and it's his club, and he's like throwing respect at this guy who just like laid it down.
Yeah. He goes, if I'm not careful, you're going to be owning this club in a year.
And it's just like it's so cool because he did it.
Yes.
He did what he wanted, that's the thing. It's what they're both vocal about.
He staked his claim to this little piece of real estate in the world that we live in, and he defended it and he fought for it and he brought it. Like,
he wanted Jazz back. She wanted to be an actress. They both did it.
Even if it was only in that place on those nights, he got what he wanted.
Yep. But in the end, then they go into they get this. They have this connection. They see each other across the room, and he decides to play a song for the group for the audience that's currently at the club, and he sits down, and it's the song that he's been playing the entire movie, because this movie is both a movie and a musical, like on theater musical, all in one, and it's done very well.
And that's a further point to like the whole thing, especially since you can talk to Cloud Atlas, you hadn't seen Mr. Nobody. That whole, not just the destiny of them meeting in separate lives, that the music is the connection point for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is Cloud Atlas has the Cloud Atlas Sextet that they keep getting at the crucial junctures in their life, and each time they meet, that song plays,
right?
And it's immediately the signifier to the both of them that is the moment
they need to be in. That like locks them together.
That's their moment,
and so he starts playing the song, and it's so funny because like. I'm watching it, like Kim's sitting next to me, and she's like, "Don't play this song." Like he's gonna play this song.
Oh,
and she's like, you know what's gonna happen, but you really don't want it to happen.
I would have been upset if he didn't play the song.
Well, yeah, but like you're so unhappy at this point as a viewer. You want them to be together so bad, but they're not going to be.
It's a gritty reboot.
And
of
it's
Singing
like
in the Rain.
It's at that point in the movie, you're like, oh nope, it's not gonna happen, right? And then they do this crazy whirlwind thing where they go back and. Instead of separating ways, they stay together, and he supports her when she goes to do her one-woman show, and it's successful, and there's tons of people, and there's a standing ovation, and like it just all goes perfect.
For me, the most poignant part is the very beginning, where when they first met in that club where he gets fired, he literally crashes into her and walks past, and in this one, when she comes up and you're like, oh, he's gonna walk into her, he grabs her and he kisses her.
And that's the difference, right? It's like at that point where they bump shoulders and he runs out and she stays in, they're both very much still in their own little world, like, this is what I want, this is what I want. And then when they do the montage, it's like, if we stuck together, like,
if it had all started, if we weren't so tied up in our own things from the beginning, we both would have been stronger for it.
Oh my god.
And it's like, and it's that whole thing, and it's like, how many times have you seen in a movie, oh, he's imagining how it would have been.
Yes.
Right? And it's like, it usually lasts 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30, a minute. And this goes on for like 10 minutes. Uh-huh. And it's like, you get swept up in it too. Like, you're as swept up and caught up in it, and the music crescendos, and it's this beautiful cinematography, and it's interspersed with a replay of the different scenes from the movie, if everything was going as it perfectly should have been. And there's other stuff where, like, their life is this whole microcosm of an actual show on Broadway, and you have this whole, like, soaring thing that's going on. It goes on for so long that you're like, oh, this is what was real, and the other thing was what was imagined this whole time. The struggle and what made it so tough was what was imagined, because that's closer to real life, and their life was a fairy tale. And then the final note of the song plays, and we come back to that same scene that they do a couple of times where it's dark and the light is only on them. Mm-hmm. And it's a final slap in the face and a fuck you. And it said, no, life sucks. They're not together. That didn't happen. Mm-hmm. And we're back in the
Yeah, because what Al's talking about is, like, during that whole... There's this extended montage of, like, if they had done this all together, like, and like, a way of it all working out together. And you're like, oh, like, this is the alternate reality where everything works out perfect, and you're like, wait, which one's real? And the only reason why you think, wait, which one's real is because
how so long it goes.
It goes on forever. They do this montage for a really long time. You're like, oh, wait. And the movie does a tremendous job of making you believe that
it's a classic bait and switch.
It's like, wait phenomenal. A minute, like, oh, no, it happened like this. It was so good. Everything's all good. No! No! You don't get that because you didn't push for that. You pushed for your own individual things. You didn't focus on what was in front of you the entire time because you spent your entire, like, your life and your thought process in La La Land. Bringing it back.
He said the name.
He said the name. But, like, they were too busy, like, getting stuck in La La Land thinking of, like, their own dreams.
Yes.
And what, like, they wanted, not to realize what was it like right in front of them.
Yes.
Right? And that they had each other, and they were each pushing each other's dream forward, even if they were sacrificing their own stuff, like, for the other person.
Yeah, because there was the whole thing when they get into that fight where it's like, they get into the fight and he lashes back. Like, she says to him, you don't believe in this. This isn't what you love. It's fine that you're doing it, but it's got to end.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're never going to get what you wanted. And he lashes back, and it's like, he says the thing, he's like, you can see it coming. He's like, he's going to say the thing that you can't unsay, and he does. But he still lives up to it, because, like, she gets the call, she leaves, she goes back home.
Right.
Home, where her parents are in, was it Nevada? And...
Colorado?
It was, no, I thought it was Colorado, but she says Nevada. It's Boulder City, not Boulder. I was confused by that too. Yeah, so she goes home and he gets a phone call and it's like, who the hell's calling me? And she's like, I'm calling for Mia. And it's like, she's not here. I don't think she's coming back. And it's the audition for the role. After all the failures and the little roles that she was going for, and she thinks she's going to go do well, and she gets a call back, and she gets about 8 seconds on screen, and they basically tell her to leave. And it's like, she gets the role... She gets the opportunity to get the role, like the one role that she needed, and they get into this huge blowout fight, and he goes and you're gonna go, and she's crying, and she's like, I'm not gonna do it. And he does the thing where he honks the horn for a long time, which he had done
so funny
when they first started dating,
and
everything is happy-go-lucky, and he's like, you're going to that fucking interview, like you're doing it.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm not. Maybe I'm no good. And he goes, maybe, well, fuck that. Like you're going, you're gonna do it, and you're gonna win. And I'm going to be here tomorrow morning to do it. Like, I'm going to be here to pick you up and drive you home. If you're about it, like, you'll be there. And if not...
How funny was that scene, too? Wait, he starts to pull... He's like, all right, she's not here. And he starts to pull away in the car. And
she's running down the street.
She's, like, running down the street with coffee. But one of the things I love about that, the whole thing, it's like, one of the scenes is after the whole horn honking thing, right? Mm-hmm. He honks the horn. That's a thing that reoccurs throughout the movie. He holds the horn down until he gets her attention, or until she comes and stops him. And she's like, how did you know where I live? And he's like, the house in front of the library. I love that because there's definitely like he definitely like went in front of other libraries.
I didn't even think about that. That's good.
The horn for a really long time, and like it just didn't work out.
Yeah, because it's perfect because they're just kind of sitting there in the dining room or whatever. Yeah. Like it's not a specific time that would like necessarily lend itself to the dramatic entrance. So yeah, I could see how that was going. I didn't think about that at the time, but I could see that being like what happened there. That's funny. Like I didn't thought about that.
Yeah. We really punched you in the gut.
I know, because like you were like, oh, it's that movie that's like, oh, it's all happy.
The movie ends and the credits roll, and you want to dance and cry.
No, I never had those two thoughts at the same time. No, I did not.
He doesn't want to confess to you guys.
Well, no. No, I could get it. Like that movie gets you in the feels, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's like. You were like, oh, like, is a movie that's going to be happy and, like, that's where it's going to go, and then it's not, and, like...
Well, I think that what really gets me, though, is, like, you just assume going in, like, oh, like, musical note, like, this is...
They tend to be lighter affairs.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, like, it's going to be a good movie. It's going to have your typical, it's like, oh, like, these characters hate each other. They love each other. Oh, there's a downside. It gets better.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah,
everybody's happy.
No!
No! And that's exactly... That all happens in those 5 minutes.
Yes. It's weird how compressed that whole thing is. Because you're right, it does have the feel, especially through the first half of the movie, that paint by numbers, like, drama, comedy, romance type of thing they're walking the line of. And it's like... No.
It's like... They do the whole montage, and they really get you to believe...
Yeah, they twist the knife.
Oh, this is what you wanted. This is everything you want. Yeah, you're not going to get that.
Yeah, they
grow up.
It's The Dark Knight Rises. They stab you in the fucking ribs and twist the knife. It's such a weird, because you're supposed to think of those old happy-go-lucky musicals, right? Like I said, it's singing. It's the dark reboot of Singing in the Rain. Like, it's the Christopher Nolan Singing in the Rain, right? Like, where it's like...
Here's a question then for you. I'm going to tie this back into the whole Oscar nomination. That slightly different ending, it becomes a completely different movie.
Yes.
Where it does not get nominated for Best Picture.
Yes, if you cut it off at 99% of the montage, and then you flash to her husband's not sitting next to him in the crowd, and she's there watching him again the way she was when he first hit success with the band. It's so Hollywood. It's so La La Land.
Yep.
But it doesn't. The movie, the song ends. He plays the last ringing note.
Chills.
It's utter pitch black with the light on him, and you look at her, and the lights come back, and she's sitting next to her husband, and they're both heartbroken, and it's real life.
Yeah. No, remind me. Tell me if I'm wrong here. When she leaves, she does look back.
She does,
which is a callback
to earlier in the movie
film where they
go on the first date.
They do the cute, very
cliché.
Very popcorn flick, very like romantic comedy. Like, oh, he looks back and she's not looking, she turns away. He looks, vice versa.
Yeah, they do the big wide angle shot where
they do that.
He looks, she doesn't. She looks, he doesn't, and whatever.
But
it all gets better from there.
At the end, though, she looks back.
Yes, it looks like she's not going to because he's staring at her.
Yeah,
and he's gonna look down at the piano, and she looks back, and they have that connection one last time.
Now, here's a question though. Like, other perspective, as the viewer, you're rooting for them the whole time. You want them to be together, just because that's how.
Yeah, it's human nature.
You've been programmed to watch a movie like this. Like, this is like, it feels like this romantic comedy.
Hollywood has done that too.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. Everything's gonna be okay in the end.
Yeah, it's the whole myth of the happy ending. Yes.
At the very end, though, the smile that the slow curled smile that she gives him, are they okay with it?
Yeah, because they got the slap in the face, and even though it seems like she won, quote unquote, more than he did,
I didn't get that.
Well, because she wanted to be the star, and she wanted to have the love of her life, and she wanted to be married, and she wanted to have all the success. And he wanted the club and to be in love, even though early on he's very resistant to the whole idea the sister is going to set him up on a blind date with her friend and this and that. And he's pushing back semi-half-heartedly. Like, he is pushing back, but it's like, for the right price I can be bought, right? Mm-hmm. And it's sad because he does end up alone.
Is it a hint at their true nature, though? Like,
yes and no. I think there is real regret there.
Yeah.
Because she seemed to open that in him because he was like hurt, right? Like he was hurt, and that's why he wasn't ready to do. Like, he was gonna focus on his career, quote unquote, and do his thing with the club. And she opens that in him where he again believes in the possibility of him having it all.
Right.
Having the true happy ending. And to a certain extent, they do have the happy ending. They got their one true dream. It's just bittersweet because they could have had so much more and they didn't. Mm-hmm. Even though there is some of the
This is what you wanted.
There is
that's how the movie hits you.
Right?
This is what you wanted, and you got it.
Like, there is that bit of self-sacrifice where she's gonna focus on the one-man show and watch his shows. And he's gonna drive to Nevada to find her, right? But they had to be dragged to that point, right? They didn't jump into it even though, because the whole fight starts with her pushing him, but she's not doing it the right way, right? She's pushing him. This isn't what you want. You want to do that thing. But there is that bit of jealousy and self-centeredness in that because it's the whole, he says, oh, we're going on tour. You should come see our couple of shows before the show is ready. And she's like, well, how long are you going to be touring? You were just doing this to get some money. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, I'm going to tour for like a year, and then we're going to record, and then I'm going to tour. And she gets resentful of that. Like, she hides it behind, you got to do your thing for your dream. But there is some selfishness in there.
I don't know. So, like, you say she gets resentful, and I think it's the way that it's portrayed, and I think it's like it kind of is how it can be. Like, she never asked him to give up on himself to do those things, which he did at that point do. Like, he was giving up on his dreams to push us forward, but she never, like, in a way, like, he was like, it's almost like, don't you realize, like, I'm giving this up for you? Yes. And, like, it's the whole, I didn't ask you to do that. And yes. It's like, and the montage shows you that they could have had both.
Definitely.
If they communicated. Mm-hmm. And they didn't.
Yes.
It's not frustrating.
I don't want to imply that it's all on her because It's just as much on him because he took what he overheard from the conversation with her and her mother that he had to go and get a big boy job.
Right.
And sell out and make money and this and that.
And he kept that to himself.
But he kept it to himself.
In the back of his mind. And
he didn't say to her, I'm just doing this because your mother was right. If he had said, your mother's right, I'm going to do this for a bit until I'm on my feet and then I can do the thing. Or even if he'd said, yeah, I like this, I'm still planning on doing that thing, it's going to have to wait a little bit. Because then he, like, takes it as, like, a personal shot to him. Like, which I think he could sense herself, like I said, the jealousy of him going to be on the road for so long, even though he surprises her and he comes back in the middle of his tour. He comes back to surprise her and make the dinner for her, and she's upset that he's going to be gone again, and he takes it reflexively and says, like, no, fuck you, like, I did this for you, even though you didn't ask it, and this and that, even though he's convincing himself.
Right, but he doesn't actually, like, say those things, but he
implies it heavily.
Yeah, like, with his actions.
Yeah, the way he snaps and yells, like he's convincing himself as much as he's convincing her. Mm-hmm. Because that's what I'm saying, he's been fooling himself the whole time. If he had been honest with her and be like, listen, like, yeah, I do hate it, but I have to do it. Like, I can never make my dream happen if I don't do this first. But because he's too selfish himself to say that, it all falls apart.
Yeah. So the fan kicked off again. I think it's one of our computer fans, and it threw me for a loop.
Yeah, I keep thinking it's the feedback, and it's not.
Yeah, it's not at all. But yeah, so overall,
I mean, like, the movie was great.
Movie's up for Best Picture. Do you agree or disagree?
Absolutely. I agree. Like, of the two that I saw, I would wholeheartedly get behind this one to win it.
Yeah,
it's that good. Yeah.
I'm definitely behind it. I think it definitely deserves the nomination.
And it's like not true to like the type of movie that I would necessarily go out of my way to see.
Right.
Like not that I have a problem with musicals. That's not like
yeah.
That's not what I'm going to go to. Like
that's fair.
I loved it. It was great.
And all right. So in a pick between the two that we've seen, do you pick La La Land?
Yeah. No. Definitely going away.
It's a very different movie.
Oh, could not have been.
It's because it seems like it's funny because they both seem like a certain type of movie from the way like from their poster to their trailer. Like okay, like this is the action war movie with the sad parts and the happy parts, and like maybe it's not all good at the end. And like this is going to be the romantic comedy, but like
both of them
romantic comedy musical, but like
both of them throw a big wrench into the works. Yeah. So what about you? Which one would you pick over the two?
I think La La Land.
Yeah. I think it is.
I think it would win. If it was the two of them head to head, I think La La Land would win.
You can kind of see it coming because La La Land's nominated for like 15 things. Like
yeah, it's just I don't know. It's something. It's very. I find it very new. I find it very different, like the way that they approach.
Even though it's like a Tales all the time.
It's so weird, right? It's very cool, but like Hacksaw Ridge is. It is what it is. It's just the same. It is that same type of. It's a little stale. That concept, like the type.
Well, we've been making movies about this war for 75 years.
Yeah,
but
exactly. And granted, the storytelling is fantastic. I'm not knocking the movie at all. I do believe that it deserves the nomination for Best Picture.
And
I
it is a little different because it's the real story. It's the true story. It's based on what things that actually happened. So you can deal with that staleness because we're getting something new in it.
Right.
The vehicle for it is obviously something we know, but it is a very specific, poignant story that we've never heard before and we want to hear.
Yeah. But and all that, like I said, though, like there's something special about La La Land, and it was one of those ones where, like, I usually have a problem when Oscar season comes around, these movies get nominated, and I'm like, I do my best to see as many of them as possible.
Yeah.
And I usually,
I know, you're the big Oscar guy.
I start to get overly judgy of, like, okay, why is this movie up for Best Picture?
I totally get that. Yeah. And, like, I feel that way too with some of these things, like, and I haven't seen enough to speak to, like, you can see bits of it in some of these, like, this year may be less offensive than other years. You can get why all of these are nominated, even if you haven't seen just the stuff that you hear about it, like, you get it.
Yep.
Like, you know, like that's the type of movie that's, like, totally going to be there, where, like, everyone loves this movie. Like, I want to see this movie because everyone loves this movie so much, like.
And that, like, in previous years, and, like, that like sticks out so much to me is just the fact that Gravity was up bothers me. Like, I do not think that movie was deserving. I think that it got a lot of hype, and this I
can understand why he was nominated and why they were nominated for cinematography and stuff like that.
Sure,
but I don't understand why the movie itself.
Right,
I'm on board with that.
Okay,
I remember when I saw the movie, I had no inclination it was going to be nominated at all.
Yeah, like it's funny. It's like you watch a movie like that, and it's like, oh, sure. There are some special things happening here. Like these are like there's some
or
things
it's
that
got
stand
that artsy quality it's not just a movie, it's art.
Right. Like, and then there's like there's a movie like La La Land that there's sure like the underlying tone is what you like. It starts off as you expect, and sure like they another classic thing is to throw you for a loop at the end and give you a twist, which is how it ends. Mm-hmm. It is a twist. It's a twist from the generic romantic comedy musical style. But
it's not offensive though. It's a twist like that. No, like, and it's not like it doesn't feel shoehorned in at all.
No, and I just thought that like there is something about the movie that stands out that makes it unique, and you do have to see it. I feel like to understand it.
Yeah,
it's not. It can't be explained to you without watching it.
I would say, unlike a lot of these movies that end up in the quote unquote happy ending, they got the ending they deserved.
They got the ending.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna go with the Bale Batman, like, you know. And I'm right behind you there. I went in there with both eyes open.
Right. Oh my god.
And I
couldn't even get through it.
I know. I served it up to you there. It's like so they were nominated for all these different things. So you really like him for Best Actor in this?
Yes, I do. I like him. I think he's great. I think he's when he's playing the character on screen, he's not Ryan Gosling playing the character, like that's the character, like that's him, that's this guy from this movie.
Yeah,
where, you know, like, he's so believable. There was like I said, so the people that are up for Best Actor are Casey Affleck, Andrew Garfield Casey Affleck for Manchester by the Sea, Andrew Garfield for Hacksaw Ridge, Ryan Gosling for La La Land, Viggo Mortensen for Captain Fantastic, and Denzel Washington for Fences. Now, when Denzel Washington is up for a movie, I just assume, okay, he probably deserved it. Like, I love Denzel. He's great.
Yeah, no.
You can't dislike him. Yeah. But he is...
I'm curious to see the movie, honestly, just for him.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
But he's so good. He's so good.
Yeah, he's tremendous.
I'm all for it. Like, I don't think it's overhype. I don't think it's anything like that.
It's hard to tell not having seen it.
Right, but from what I'm hearing from the past, though, from like times where he's been up, it's like, okay, is he up because he was good in this, or is he up because he's
it's a
Denzel?
Prestige piece,
and it's like, no, he's good. Like Denzel he's like tried and true. Like he's I feel like he's always good. He's a lock.
No, you expect him to bring it,
right?
Like he's not mailing it in.
You're right. And then Aragon. Sure.
You can call him Viggo.
Yeah, Viggo. I don't know. I don't have any strong opinions for a guy. I see him and I think Lord of the Rings. I don't think anything else.
You've never seen Eastern Promises?
No. I agree that I need to get behind this guy's career a little bit and understand him a little bit more. But
yeah, so I mean, he hasn't been in a ton of really big things, like not as like big roles per se, like great as Aragorn, but it's a very particular role. Mm-hmm. And he plays it pretty understated mostly, right? I've always wanted to see History of Violence, and I never have. I know that he was supposedly really good in it. He was fine in Hidalgo. It was good.
Okay.
Like, he was good.
I didn't see a lot of
I thought the movie
movies.
was overrated. You should see Eastern Promises.
Okay.
It's good. He's good. It's probably not what you expect. It's like... It's very foreign, the movie. Namely, kind of the influence of British filmmaking. Like, have you ever seen Layer Cake with Daniel Craig?
No.
I got a lot of similar vibes from this. The ending is different. A lot of similar vibes. He's really good in it. And it's a good movie. It's worth a watch. It's dark, but it's it's not gonna like drag you down.
Yeah, so like I'm not gonna be for or against. Like, Denzel Washington is up for Fences, and I just assume that that's probably right.
Yeah,
you know.
No, I think that's right. From what I'm hearing about Viggo, and that he's deserving for sure.
Okay.
Casey's gonna win it though. Casey Affleck's gonna win.
You think so?
I don't think there's a question. Like, if you hear the way people are talking about it, he's gonna win. I didn't see it. He's supposedly really good. I have really no desire to see it because I don't want to be depressed for 2 hours.
I get from like the hype and whatnot. I assume that he's like the pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't.
I don't have a strong feel for Ryan Gosling in this one. Like, okay. He was good in it. I don't have anything wrong with him. I actually don't really have a ton of, like, I've never seen The Notebook. Like, I've never seen all like his stuff. Like,
right.
He's still the skinny kid in Remember the Titans.
Oh my god.
Who gets benched for Donald Faison. Like, like, that's still who Ryan Gosling is to me. He's fine. Like, I don't expect him to be tremendous in any role. I don't expect him to be bad in any role. I expect him to be a guy who's going to go out there and do his job, and I thought that was kind of what he did in this.
Okay.
That's fair. Between of the two that we saw, I would pick Andrew Garfield over him, but I really don't feel that strong about him either.
I do. Well, I agree with that, but I also, like, for me though, it's like Ryan Gosling is he's generally good. I feel like, and in the things that I've seen,
you expect him to be quality.
He fits. He's like,
I didn't think there was anything noteworthy.
but like I don't know, he does play like he holds on to the character, right? Like he plays the character well. I feel like as you would. Like,
he did. I just didn't think there was anything. I didn't feel like there was a degree of difficulty in the role.
Fair.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
he more than adequately performed it, but it was a pretty simple role. I feel like.
Right. Well, all right. So let's get on to Andrew Garfield then. Like we had mentioned this earlier. Like we were talking prior to the show that like one of the things that I was worried about going into the movie was that his accent in the commercials and the trailers, like I felt like crap. Like there's gonna be points where like it dies out. It felt like it was too put on, but the fact that I found that he holds it the whole movie,
yes,
without dipping, and I think that like kind of sealed it for me. Like he did a really good job.
He stayed in character under the high stress situations of getting shot at and carrying dudes like twice as big as him, like in that movie. Like
it was impressive. And then back to Casey Affleck. You're not an Affleck fan in general, though.
Yeah, the Affleck family doesn't really do anything for me. Like,
I am.
Yeah, yes,
this
very well
known. This is where
known.
Al and I are
at odds. One of the few times that we're seriously at odds. Yeah, I don't really care about him, like his existence, honestly. Mm-hmm. Casey, like more of my issues with Ben.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't really like Casey in Good Will Hunting. He was a dweeby little fuck. I don't.
Wow.
Like he didn't have anything to like really like to stand on in like American Pie. I've never seen anything else he's been. I never saw Gone Baby Gone. Like I don't know his work.
I like Gone Baby Gone.
I know a lot of people like it. I've never got a chance to see it.
I don't know. I like him and his brother. There's a certain way that they deliver their lines. There's a certain way that there's a certain way that they carry themselves when they portray a character, and I actually like it. I do want to see this movie, but
I'll probably see
like
it
you said, this is a movie that I know that I need to be in the mood to be like depressed afterwards. Like
you have to be ready,
which is a weird thing to say.
You have to be ready for the consequences.
Yeah, it's not going to be. It's not. This is not a feel good movie.
Like watch this and then go to bed.
Right. Oh God. Forever.
No, I meant like it's gonna ruin the rest of your day.
Right,
so like go in.
This is a nighttime movie.
Like commit to falling asleep 15 minutes later because like you want to just purge yourself.
You don't carry this with you for the rest of the day.
Like watch the movie, take a couple shots of whiskey and go to sleep.
So we didn't touch on Best Actress, and unfortunately, it's because I think I've only seen one of the movies that one of the actresses is.
Well, there was no one from Hacksaw Ridge in it.
No.
The women were a little bit more understated. I wish they had given. I don't remember her name. The one who played his fiance.
Yeah.
I think her name's Teresa Palmer.
Okay.
She wasn't given. I thought she did good, but she wasn't given enough to work with to be up for it. Really. Like,
right. I feel like she probably could have pulled it off.
Yeah.
Because the movie just overall was just well done. Just overall
quality production.
Yeah. And like and she was great.
Yeah.
On screen, but she
just
have
didn't
a lot
give
of time.
enough. Yeah, she wasn't given enough to work.
And
with.
it's like unlike Hugo Weaving, also not given a lot of time, but
he
really pulls it in when
he does.
Yeah,
when he's on screen, you know he's on screen.
Uh-huh.
I'm upset he wasn't nominated. I would wholeheartedly.
So from what I've seen so far, I agree. I would definitely. I would cast my vote for him.
Yeah. And there's no one in the supporting roles nominated from La La Land at all because the movie is just about that.
Right. That's an interesting point. So actresses in a leading role is Isabelle Huppert from Elle. Do you know what Elle is?
I don't.
I haven't done any research.
I'm not sure who this is. I didn't check this out at all.
Ruth Negga from Loving.
That I've heard of, but I really don't know anything about it.
Same thing. Natalie Portman, Jackie.
I heard good things about her in that.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I kind of forgot that this was around, and now I'm a little bit more intrigued. I kind of want to see this.
Yeah, I think
that came out about a month or two ago.
I feel like it'll be one that I end up seeing before the awards.
Yeah, I mean, if I get a chance to see it somehow, I will. I was interested by the movie, so I'll try and check that out at some point.
Yeah.
And I had heard of this other movie with Meryl Streep. You know, had I known she was nominated, I would have watched this movie because it was on the plane when I was coming back from Hawaii. My mom watched it. We should have found a way to loop her into this debate. Give her
Mama Bayelsi. What are your thoughts?
The bit I know about this is that she plays a woman who has a debilitating mental issue. Brought on, I think, because of the effects of syphilis, which it's like weird because it's like a period piece, and it's like it takes place like 60 years ago, so it's like...
Jeez, from the plot that I just read, those things are not touched on at all.
It's dark.
All right.
This is the breakdown my mom was giving me after the plane ride in which I was near delirious from exhaustion. But I'm not misremembering that. She had, I think, a debilitating like mental illness worked very slowly over many years that I think she got as a result of the effects of an STD.
Okay.
And it chronicles her life and her relationship with her husband, who I believe is the one who gave her the disease.
Okay.
So it's an interesting, odd story, and it's very dark, although I think probably not as depressing, surprisingly, despite what I just gave you, possibly less depressing than Manchester by the Sea.
Interesting. I was trying to find hints of that in any of the plot synopsis that I could find, but I was gonna read it out. But
unless of course I'm.
That'd be hilarious if you were like just totally not on point.
Unless of course I'm accurately remembering the details of a completely different movie. I'm not inaccurately remembering the details of this movie.
That was actually L. No. Emma Stone.
I would be more supportive of her than Ryan Gosling for that movie.
Really? I'm the other way.
I liked her a lot in that. It's weird. I was thinking about while watching the movie. So, like, she almost is unrecognizable from the first time I saw her on screen. It's hard to think that...
What was the first time you saw her on screen?
What's it called?
Superbad?
Superbad.
Yeah.
That's 10 years ago.
That's crazy.
Right?
That's just nonsense.
She looks like her older sister. She doesn't look like her.
Yeah. I can see that.
You know? She's like
well,
a
they
different
also...
person.
It's like they really, like... They pulled off playing high school kids in that movie, and they weren't. So...
Well, she was closer to it than Jonah Hill. She's younger
right.
than him. She's not old now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Was she 20 in Superbad and 30 now?
Yeah. I don't know exactly. Let's see.
Because she didn't look out of place in Superbad. And she didn't look out of place in this movie either. But it's been 10 whole years, and she doesn't look like she's 10 years older. She just looks like a different person.
Yeah. I'll be damned. She is my age. She was born in 88.
Yeah, see? Well, she's not even 30.
No. Huh.
So she was a high schooler.
Yeah.
In that movie.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Yes.
High school Jason.
High school Jason, indeed.
Was she 19? Like, I mean,
yeah.
you know,
close.
so.
It was close. Yeah. I don't know. It's funny, like, the two of them together I buy. I'm not sure that them separately, like, the nomination of them separate. Like, I agree the movie's up for nomination. I think that works.
And whether or not the movie wins, and I think it should, I think the director should win. I like this movie way better. I thought this was a way better movie than Whiplash, which he made. He was the guy who did that.
You thought this was better than Whiplash?
You love Whiplash.
I do love Whiplash.
I didn't
I'm
love it.
a huge fan of Whiplash.
I thought it was overrated.
Whiplash.
It was okay. It was fine. I just like. I think J.K. Simmons was great. I don't like Miles Teller, so that's part of the reason.
That could be it. I also like Miles Teller a lot. The movies are great.
Yeah, he just doesn't do anything for me. I don't know.
No, not a fan.
No, like, yeah, I don't know. He does nothing for me. Yeah, I don't know. He's just a guy.
J.K. Simmons crushed it in that movie. Not to bring it back too far.
He was tremendous.
Yeah.
The reason I would support Emma Stone over Ryan Gosling in this case, not that they're obviously not going against each other in this, but just like that I would get behind her is, I thought her character demanded more range and she rose to the task. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He was a little more even keel throughout the course of the movie.
So, all right. So I just want to. So the director. Did he wrote La La Land or he directed it?
Both, I think.
Trying to find this out.
I looked this up the other day. I'm pretty sure he wrote and directed it, just like I think he wrote and directed Whiplash.
No, I don't think he directed it.
Directed what? He 100% directed Whiplash because it was a short first, and he made the short, and then turned it into a full movie.
Right. No, I see that. Damien. How do you pronounce his last name?
Something with a C.
Chazelle?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Chazelle? He's credited. off the bat as the writer of La La Land, but
Pretty sure he directed it too.
yeah, he did. You're right. You're correct. I can see that now.
Please tell me
No, you're correct.
Please don't. Please don't tell me.
No, you're good. You're not a liar.
Misread the internet.
I mean, you never know. That's interesting. I actually didn't even realize that, I didn't know about that at all going into it.
I didn't know going in. I looked it up afterwards because I was intrigued.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I try not to. I don't want to like. I try not to judge too hard of the movie like beforehand based on like who did what.
Yeah.
Except there's a couple of things. There's a couple exceptions.
M. Night Shyamalan.
If M. Night Shyamalan's in it, I directed it. I immediately assume that it's not good.
Yeah, I heard bad things about Split.
If Christopher Nolan directed it, I immediately assume it's one of the best movies ever made.
Well, when I was sitting in the theater before you and Kim came in, they showed a trailer for Dunkirk.
Yeah,
I'm in.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So in.
Yes.
Love that guy. Dunkirk.
Yes.
That man. No, Christopher Nolan.
The man, Joseph Dunkirk.
Oh my god. All right, so to recap, Hacksaw Ridge up for Best Picture, agreed. La La Land up for Best Picture, agreed.
100%.
If you were to pick one right now, it would be La La Land.
Yes.
The two of us in sync on that. You don't... Ryan Gosling...
No, not doing it for me.
You're not doing it for you. I'm alright with it. Emma Stone...
Yes.
Doing it for you. I don't see it as Best Actress, but...
To be fair, I don't know the other people's...
Right.
Like, the specifics of their roles, but... I'm okay with
I have to, in my opinion, I'm assuming there's someone better. Like, for Best Actor, I would pick Andrew Garfield, but whatever. I think that he's deserving of being up, of Ryan Gosling's deserving of being up for it.
I'm not offended by it, but I wouldn't have thought to nominate him.
Yeah.
Not that I have a nomination, because I don't matter, but.
Your point is moot. Yeah.
Good talk.